Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video looks at a moment that caught global attention. China issued a strong warning to the United States and Japan. What followed was an immediate and carefully measured response from Japan. This exchange was not just about words, it reflected deeper tensions shaping the future of the Indo-Pacific region. To understand why this matters, we need to step back. East Asia has long been one of the most strategically sensitive regions in the world. Major economies, critical shipping lanes, and unresolved historical disputes all intersect here. When China, the United States, and Japan interact, the impact goes far beyond their borders. China's warning came amid rising military and diplomatic activity in the region. Beijing has repeatedly expressed concern over closer security cooperation between Washington and Tokyo. From China's perspective, these partnerships appear aimed at containing its rise. Chinese officials often frame this as a threat to regional stability and national sovereignty. At the heart of the issue is the balance of power. China has expanded its economic, technological, and military capabilities over the past 2 decades. The United States remains the dominant global military power. Japan, a key U.S. ally, has been reassessing its own security posture. This triangle of relationships defines much of today's regional tension. China's warning was firm but calculated. It emphasized opposition to what Beijing calls external interference. The message was clear. China does not want the U.S. and Japan strengthening military coordination near its borders. Officials argued that such actions could increase the risk of misunderstanding or escalation. For Washington, cooperation with Japan is not new. The U.S.-Japan security alliance dates back to the post-World War Roman II era. It was originally designed to ensure Japan's defense while limiting its military role. Over time, the alliance evolved. Today, it focuses on regional stability, freedom of navigation, and deterrence. Japan's position is especially complex. The country has a pacifist constitution that restricts the use of force. At the same time, it faces a challenging security environment. North Korea's missile tests, Russia's regional activities, and China's growing presence all factor in. These pressures have pushed Japan to rethink its defense policies. When China issued its warning, Japan's response was swift. Tokyo reaffirmed its commitment to its alliance with the United States. Japanese officials stressed that their actions are defensive in nature. They emphasized transparency and adherence to international law. The goal, they said, is stability, not confrontation. This immediate response was significant. It showed that Japan does not intend to be intimidated by diplomatic pressure. At the same time, the tone remained measured. There were no threats or inflammatory language. Japan focused on principles rather than accusations. Why did Japan respond so quickly? Timing matters in diplomacy. Silence can be interpreted as weakness or uncertainty. By responding immediately, Japan aimed to control the narrative. It signaled confidence and clarity to both allies and adversaries. The United States also played a key role in the background. American officials have consistently supported Japan's security decisions. They argue that strong alliances deter conflict rather than provoke it. From this view, preparedness reduces the likelihood of miscalculation. China, however, sees the situation differently. Beijing often points to historical grievances. It recalls periods when foreign powers exerted pressure in the region. These memories shape modern Chinese foreign policy. Respect for sovereignty and non-interference are core themes. This clash of perspectives creates a communication gap. Each side believes it is acting defensively. Each side believes the other is increasing risk. This is a classic security dilemma. Actions taken for protection are perceived as threats by others. The regional context adds another layer. The Indo-Pacific has become central to global trade. Major shipping routes pass through nearby waters. Any instability could disrupt supply chains worldwide. This is why countries far beyond Asia are paying attention. There is also a humanitarian dimension. Rising tensions create anxiety among civilian populations. People worry about economic uncertainty and long-term peace. Even without conflict, the psychological impact is real. Governments must consider these human costs. Japan's public opinion has been shifting. Surveys show growing concern about regional security. Support for increased defense spending has risen. At the same time, many citizens still value pacifism. Leaders must balance these competing views. China faces its own domestic pressures. Economic challenges and social expectations influence foreign policy. Strong language can serve internal audiences as much as external ones. National pride and unity are powerful motivators. This does not always translate into a desire for conflict. The United States, meanwhile, is managing global commitments. It seeks to reassure allies without overextending itself. Washington's messaging emphasizes cooperation and shared values. Yet it must also avoid escalating tensions unnecessarily. This balancing act is increasingly difficult. One key trend is the rise of multilateral frameworks. Japan and the US are working with other regional partners. These include Australia, South Korea, and Southeast Asian nations. Focus is on joint exercises, technology sharing, and diplomacy. China views some of these efforts with suspicion. Another trend is military modernization. China has invested heavily in naval and air capabilities. Japan has increased its defense budget and capabilities as well. The US continues to maintain a strong presence. Modernization can deter aggression, but also raise stakes. Despite the sharp rhetoric, communication channels remain open. Diplomatic meetings and military hotlines still function. This is crucial for crisis management. History shows that misunderstandings can escalate quickly. Dialogue reduces that risk. It is also important to separate warnings from actions. A strong statement does not always lead to confrontation. Often, it is part of signaling and negotiation. Understanding this helps avoid overreaction. Media narratives can sometimes amplify fear. From a global perspective, stability in East Asia benefits everyone. Economic growth, innovation, and cooperation thrive in peaceful conditions. Conflict would have far-reaching consequences. This shared interest creates space for diplomacy. Even rivals recognize this reality. Japan's instant response can be seen as a form of reassurance. It reassured its own citizens. It reassured its allies. It also clarified intentions to China. Clear communication can prevent dangerous assumptions. China's warning, while strong, also had limits. It did not announce new measures or immediate actions. This suggests room for de-escalation. Firm words were paired with restraint. This pattern is common in strategic signaling. The humanitarian impact of prolonged tension should not be ignored. Increased military spending can divert resources from social needs. Communities near strategic areas may feel constant stress. Young people worry about their future. Peaceful dialogue offers relief from these pressures. Looking ahead, several scenarios are possible. Tensions could stabilize through continued diplomacy. They could remain at a low-level standoff, or they could escalate due to miscalculation. The choices made now will shape outcomes. Regional organizations may play a role. ASEAN, for example, often promotes dialogue and confidence building. Neutral platforms allow all sides to engage. These efforts may seem slow, but they contribute to long-term stability. Technology also influences the situation. Cybersecurity, space capabilities, and artificial intelligence are new frontiers. Rules and norms are still developing. Misunderstandings in these areas could be dangerous. Cooperation on standards is increasingly important. Public communication matters as well. Leaders must speak responsibly. Inflammatory language can limit diplomatic options. Measured statements leave room for negotiation. This is where Japan's response stood out. For viewers trying to make sense of this moment, context is key. This is not an isolated incident. It is part of a broader pattern of strategic competition. Understanding history helps clarify motivations. Empathy helps reduce fear. No country benefits from conflict. Economic interdependence ties these nations together. China, Japan, and the US all rely on stable trade. Disruption would harm millions of ordinary people. This reality acts as a powerful restraint. In conclusion, China's strong warning and Japan's instant response highlight a delicate balance. Strength and restraint coexist in modern diplomacy. Words are chosen carefully. Timing is critical. The goal, ultimately, is to protect national interests without crossing into conflict. As global citizens, it is important to stay informed. Seek multiple perspectives. Avoid simplistic narratives. Complex issues deserve thoughtful analysis. Only then can we understand what is really at stake. Thank you for watching, and we will continue to follow this developing story closely.